Thank you once again for making Locked On Cougars your first listen of the day. Hope you all are doing fantastic out there. I was at the Marriott Center last night, and I took my oldest son with me to the game. And a lot of you understand that I work in media, and that obviously changes the dynamic a lot of times when they're on a media credential because I can't take my kids. But I figured last night, you know what? It's open seating, and I can go and enjoy the game and still observe and take some things in, but also enjoy some time with my son. We got a cougar tail. We got a couple of hot dogs. We had a great time watching the game. And the biggest thing is, once again, walking around the concourse and people just coming up and saying hi. I am absolutely floored time and again by all of you who come by and say hi and say you enjoy the podcast. It means the world to me. So I want to give us a couple shout outs. Eric from the facilities team, he stopped by to say hello. Russell also stopped by, says he's an everydayer. And Russell, you're the man. Appreciate you taking a picture with me. A couple other people took pictures with me as well. I apologize. I didn't write down all the names, so I'm going to leave some people out. I think it was Coleman I met. We also have Ben, by the way, who's a student at BYU, just got into the supply chain management track in the Marriott School of Business. That's not an easy thing to do. So congratulations to you, Ben. Matt also said hello last night. So to any and all of you, if I didn't mention your name and you said hi last night, thank you for your support. And more importantly, hope you guys enjoyed the show, because what we saw from BYU basketball was, I think, the first glimpses at this team that's full of dynamic athletes, but more importantly, a lot of unselfish play. Last night, Dybantsa was a guy that his shot was struggling. He was just unable to hit a lot of shots, it felt like, unless he was right at the rim. And there are nights like that in basketball. It's the simple fact of the sport, because it's a really tough thing to do under pressure. The one thing I noticed about AJ, and it's something that we've seen on film from him from his high school days playing for the U.S. men's U18 team, his ability to get to his spots wherever he wants on the court, whether he's trying to post up in the high post, he's going above the arc and trying to facilitate that way, he's back cutting, his ability to get where he needs and wants to go on the court, that is an incredible skill he's got. And he will continue to hone it, obviously, both at BYU and on into the pro game. But he's already got an incredible sense. And I saw it and I know it's a scrimmage, but I saw it last night, is his ability to get where he wanted to go on the court. People can't stop him. There are players out there, and most of them are in the NBA these days, that are able to essentially force and impose their will on their opponents. And AJ has that force. And that's a term that Quinn Snyder, the former Utah Jazz coach, used all the time. And it's become more in vogue in college basketball. And AJ possesses it. Other things I observed, I think that if you're not paying attention to the name Khadim Mboop, and I think I got his name pronounced right. I know it's spelled like you say Khadim, but I think it's Khadim Mboop. Folks, we are looking at a guy that he joined BYU midway through last season and redshirted. Remember, he was at Utah Prep Academy for the first part of the season, graduated from there, and then enrolled at BYU. He's from the NBA Academy in Africa, and he looks very much the part of a third wheel on the wing for BYU. But even more than that, his versatility, being able to play on the wing and also on the interior, I think it's going to lend itself to BYU having a much more versatile lineup with him in it. I think that he has got all the skills. I was really, really impressed with his poise. His shot making, I thought, was pretty dang good, but his size and his ability to move is incredible considering how big he looks out there on the court. He looks like a legit old school power forward, kind of moves like a guard though. It's pretty impressive. So keep an eye on Mboop. I think he's got a lot of potential in him. Aleksej Kostić was probably the one player who stood out the most to me last night. He's got a nice stroke, folks. Remember, he's coming over from the Adriatic League. Was a late addition to BYU's roster, but he came in, and I think we had like 8 points in like just a few minutes in that first half of the blue and white scrimmage. And he's got a dead-eye ability from anywhere on the court. And more importantly than that, he can put it on the deck. He can facilitate the offense, and he can move the ball. That's one thing that Kevin Young values highly, is guys who, even if they're not having their shot fall, much like AJ didn't last night, is their ability to move off the ball, but also facilitate the offense and keep it moving. That's one thing also about AJ in this game is, I think he understood that, hey, shot may not be going as well tonight, but he had 3 assists early. I think he ended up with 4 or 5 overall, at least in that first half that I recall. And his facilitator ability is really, really nice because he gets this rep as this just ball dominant player. He doesn't have to have the ball to dominate. He's got an ability to check off and give it off to other guys and put them in positions to succeed. And that brings me to Richie Saunders. We had John Rothstein on social media about a weekish ago. He was in Provo, and he said that he believed that Richie Saunders could make 100 threes this year. Now, that means if you kind of go by the math, you make 40% of your threes, you're going to have to shoot somewhere north of 200 to make that many threes in a given season. That's a lot of three-pointers to get up. But watching the way, as I mentioned, that BYU's offense was moving last night, Richie Saunders is going to find himself with a lot of good looks. And it's not just necessarily beyond the arc, but the ability for other guys to force the defense to adjust and bring them to them. That allows a guy like Richie, because he made his bones early on in his career as that junkyard dog, a glue guy. He was like the sixth man of the year, according to John Rothstein. His ability to do the dirty work, back cut, find open lanes, and continue just to find ways to score. I think Richie is going to look even better in this year's version of BYU basketball than he did a season ago as the Big 12's most improved player and a first-team all-conference honoree. That's pretty impressive and pretty hard to do, but I'm telling you, the glimpses I saw on the court last night, he's going to have a lot of great looks, and I see why John Rothstein in some small way believes that he could make 100 threes this year. He is finding open looks that I don't think even existed in many doses last year. And Richie's got an ability to get shots off in any circumstance. He's got a really nice compact shot, but some of the space he was afforded last night by opponents and teammates that know him extremely well because they go up against him in practice every single day. I was really, really impressed with what Richie flashed on the court. And if that's legit and that's going to be part of what BYU is going to look like, yeah, I see why John Rothstein believes that he could go off this season. Other things. I thought Dominic Diomande had his moments. I think he's a really nice, I think more of a defensive player at this point. Kennard Davis Jr., by the way, I have been projecting, I think as well as most people, as him being kind of that fifth starter in BYU's lineup. I was impressed with him. He's a compact, strong athlete, but has some nice shot-making ability. I thought you saw that in small doses last night, but it was unfortunate to see Rob Wright, Dawson Baker. I think Brody Kozlowski also missed out, and I think there was one other player, I'm not remembering off the top of my head, who sat out last night, and Kevin Young in his post-game comments said he's not that concerned. He called him banged up. So that, I know you wanted to see Rob Wright III lobbing it up to guys like Keba Keita, but I think that give them some time. They're obviously, it's a scrimmage versus you're going to have your first exhibition game a week from tomorrow out there in Lincoln, Nebraska. And then you've got North Carolina coming in. And then we're 3 weeks away conservatively from tip off of the season, folks. And I'm looking forward to it. And those guys, get them healthy. Don't worry about this preseason stuff. Worry about when you get to Villanova on November 3rd. That's when it gets real. And that's when you want Rob Wright and those guys on the court. So I thought overall, BYU showed some glimpses of a team that I think is going to be a lot of fun. A couple of you, I got some messages from the Locked On Cougars Insider Group members. Jake, I'm like you. I don't want to wish away football season, but this BYU basketball team, they look fun. And that's one thing is you could tell they were having fun out there on the court. It's not where they're grinding and they're trying to figure out and they're you can tell that they're thinking too much. No, it's just kind of a free-flowing state of basketball. And that's highly appealing stuff to watch them do that. And even when they shuffled the lineups, moving guys onto different teams for the second half, I was technically like a second game. I was impressed by just how free flowing and fluid it already looks for this BYU basketball team. That's the thing about it is it doesn't look disjointed. It doesn't look like they need more time to gel. They look like they're just out there playing ball with their guys. And that's a great sign, I think, for this BYU basketball team, because let's be real. I'll reiterate another point I've made on this podcast. Expectations have never been higher for a BYU basketball team. I'm not talking for Jimmer Fredette, Danny Ainge, or literally anybody else in BYU basketball history. The stakes, the expectations, the hype, it's all at a sky-high level, an all-time level at that, and they have to match that. And I think that what I saw last night with it just being a scrimmage, you can tell this is a team. I don't think they're fretting too much about having to answer for the hype and the like. I think they're just out there playing ball, and they expect to play high-level basketball at all times. And that's a great, great thing if you're a Cougar fan.